So in this lesson I will go through more or less what possibilities you have when you work with a power node. So we went into the power node in a previous lesson, but you can do so much, so I thought why not just put together a lot of different versions of things that you can do. So this is more or less just a short presentation of stuff and give you a clue of how powerful the power is and what you can do with it. So if I just take away the camera so it's not in the way. So some of these we already have done. So we have done the heart, we have done this diamond and so on. Some looks a little bit different from what you've seen earlier and so on. But all of these are just power nodes. And I put them together and you can find something called power patterns in your resources. And then you can play with them, and that is the purpose with this file. It's to really get to know the power of the power node, so to say. And some of these are like fixed, and some you can really play with to get different types of results. So if I just go through them very, very quick. So what I do in this case here is that I create some type of eye, and to get this little circle in the middle, I just use the length here. But what you can do if you want to is of course use a power. So we don't need to use the length, we can use power. So then we just add converter. You don't have to do it, it's just me showing how powerful power is. But I can just add a power here by adding add earn power, put exponent to 2, and just copy this one. Take the X to the first one, take the Y to the second one, and just add them together. So Shift A, converter, math, add, like this. And then just put it in here, and as you can see, if I can take this way, you get a circle here as well. And then of course you have to change the value here so it's not so powerful or big as it is here. And you can do that with the square root, so Shift D. You can do it with subtract or something else as well, but if you should have the same as this one, then you go in and you select square root, and perfect. That length here, that is exactly the same as this combination here. So the length is also power. So power of 2, add it together, do a square root, and you have exactly the same as you had with the length here. Some extra information that we have here. So now I can take away that one. The rest here was more or less just that I add a power on the top here to control the shape of the eye. And as you can see, I don't use the same value up and down, so it then can get some differences between. Normally I use an absolute and then we get exactly the same pattern all over the place, but in some cases it's good to have some variations between the X and the Y, of course. So here I just add a factor where we can play with the power. So you know, if I put this to a very low number like this, then it's pushed down. Perhaps you remember that when we worked with the diamond. And if you go up, so it's like this, then it gets more and more round, which you learned with the circle now. So with small changes here, you can make it to look like an eye here. And then I just added this to make it bigger or smaller like that. So, and then you add it together exactly as I did with the circle. So that is how that works. This one is for you to play with, because I would like to show you how easily you can get different patterns. And the power in this one is not just the power, but it's also that we have compare with a really low number. And if we have that, then everything must be exactly the same value in the top as in the bottom to get out something here, or else it will just be black. So if you have a higher value, you have bigger tolerance, you can have bigger deviation and still get white out. But if you put it to really small value down here, then only if you really matches the value that comes both in the X and the Y, then you get something out. And that means that you can get very big differences here. So you can see that I can change this and you can get an explosion, you can get this pattern, you can get something like this or something else just by changing this. So it's more or less just to play with it that I added this into so you could see how it works. And you can of course play with other stuff as well. And when it comes to both, I think this one, and those below here, it's when you like to do some type of flower with like 4 leaves, then this is perfect because you can reflect, mirror everything when you use an absolute that you know since before. And you also know that with the power you can then make things more round, or you can squeeze them together to make them more narrow. So that means that it's easy to create shapes like this here by just changing the information you have here. So first we have 2 powers here that we multiply, and here I can then change the size, but I can also change how this should be. So this is more like a contrast power, and this is the shape here, and then this is also the contrast here. So you can see it gets more orange here and more red here. So the formula or the math is just these. It's very easily just one power, another power that I multiply together, and then I just filter out the information. So it's just power, and multiply, and you get this flower. The heart we already seen, diamond we have already seen, and this is more or less same as the other one that I just would like to show you, that you can do rather complex patterns just by put in a lot of math with power and then use a compare with really small value. So if you increase that, you get this explosion as I showed before, so you can get different values here as well, but it's the compare that then decides what you will see or not. And this is almost the same as the other one. It's instead of using a multiply, I just use a maximum to get this. So no big difference between those 4 leaves here and these 4 leaves here. So what I've done here is more or less just variations of the power, just so you understand how to combine it to create all these patterns in a good way, and just to really play along and learn how powerful the power node is. So you don't get scared for it or think that, oh shit, this looks really complicated, because this is hard to understand first. It seems like, okay, how can one node do so much? But since that node have this, that if you multiply something with yourself and that value is less than 1, then the result will be even smaller. And if you take a value that is bigger than 1 and multiply that with yourself, that will be bigger. So that means that the power works in both directions, and that is what's so amazing with it. You can make something grow and you can make something shrink with the same node by just changing the amount of values that you put in here. So that is also why you can create all these shapes. So I really stress that you should learn how the Power Node works and experiment until you feel safe with it, because you can do so many patterns with it. So I really needed to put this lesson in and have it for you so you can play with all the stuff later on. But as I said, it's not a lesson where you just learn one thing. This is more like, this is power. Learn how to use your power to get power. So I will just say bye for now and see you in the next lesson.